Yo, what the f is up, internet? Welcome back to Milehighkei, America's only K-car channel. So in today's video, it's gonna be more of like a vlog style of what I got going on in the garage. Just come along and join me for the ride and see what I've been up to. But first, a word from our sponsor. Are you tired of mechanics not understanding your JDM car? Are you up to your knees in parts and don't even know where to even start? Well, look no further and come on down to Zach's Weird Ass Car and Truck Repair, where we don't care if it's an old car, a new car, a K car, or even an LMNOP car. We service it all. We work on what others turn down here at Zach's Weird Ass Car and Truck Repair. This is not a real company. Please do not contact. Thank you. All right, so we're in the garage and I admittedly have a lot of shit on my plate. So my good buddy Tony had a great idea that I need to get all this shit out of my brain and clear up some space so I can actually think for once. I made a little whiteboard. Well, I didn't make it. I bought this from Hobby Lobby and I wrote down all the things that I need to get done on all my different projects. I just want to get everyone up to date on those because I only really talk about the van because it is currently my only K car and this is America's only K car channel. Just want to let everyone know what I got going on. First off is the E07A out of the Honda Beat that we are going to be putting into the Acty. I was waiting on some stuff in the mail and lo and behold, I think it came in the mail. So we'll do a, dare I say, unboxing a little bit later in the video, but that is a big project that I want to get done this weekend. I took some extra time off work, so I have an extra long weekend, so hopefully we'll get it done. Right here, I am really stoked on these. So these are the carburetors for my CB750, which is over here. And I completely tore them apart, cleaned them, rebuilt them. They have new jets, all that sort of stuff. Just cleaned it all up and now they are ready to go back on the bike. It's just been sitting over here since actually the Honda Acura show down in the Springs that I went to last year. Hopefully I get the van done by then. If not, I will probably be taking the CB750 down there again. And then right here is actually my first motorcycle, and this is the CB125. I got a stator out of a CB350 and also a coil. Just to complete the 12 volt conversion because these are 6 volt bikes. I have my neighbor's Land Rover in here that he wants me to take a look at. Some of the lights and electrical isn't working, and since I rewired my entire truck, he just wanted me to take a look at it and see if it's something that I can take care of. What else? Of course, we have the Datsun, which has been sitting for quite some time. It just needs the brakes looked at a little more. I can show you right here. So down in here, I put in a Willwood proportioning valve just to be able to control the new big old disc brakes that I put in here. I need to adjust the rear drums because the emergency brake isn't catching, and I don't know if they've ever been adjusted, so that might be why. That would add to the reason why the brakes aren't working. The MR2 is awesome. It drives great, but right now it doesn't pass emissions. I'm going to take it in tomorrow to get its emissions tested again. It failed last week, but I got a couple tricks up my sleeve to hopefully get it pass, and then it's just a matter of registering it. So that's kind of the overview of everything that I got going on in the garage. Now, let's get to unboxing this. So this is the new clutch for the engine that is going in the van. This is for a PP1 Honda Beat. It's the whole kit. It's the actual clutch disc with the pressure plate as well as the new throwout bearing. Something that I was worried about that wasn't going to be included that is actually not in here is the alignment tool. So that is a little bit concerning. This thing is absolutely tiny. Was waiting for this for a while. Super stoked that it's in. And now we will definitely be able to go side mode and put the engine into the van.
Later that same evening.
Thank you for holding. This is Lasher. How can I help you?
Hi, I was just wondering if you have universal clutch alignment tools.
Give me just a second. Let me look to see if it's just not pulling up in the system.
So I called up AutoZone and they have one of the universal clutch alignment tools, so that's going to make my life so much easier. But before I go pick that up, I just wanted to show y'all some of the things that I've been doing in the background. So I have been comparing and showing the differences between the E07A out of the Acty and the Beat, and this is one of those interesting situations. So this is the alternator belt tensioner that is from the Beat, and this motor mount is out of the Acty, and right here is where the tensioner mounts to. I had to space out the alternator mount from the actual motor mount. I just used my extra, there's a little dowel that goes on this lower bolt in order to space it out, so I just cut that down. I got a longer bolt to put it through, and now everything lines up perfect. The reason why I wanted to use the Beat alternator as opposed to the Acty alternator is the Acty alternator, it's just a groove, and this one actually has like the little ribs in it. So I just wanted to make it so I didn't have to take this pulley off and put this one on. This just seemed a little bit simpler, and also this has the actual tensioner on it, and this one you kind of just do it by hand. This one was just a little bit better in my opinion, and just physically this alternator is larger than this one. Because there's a lot more electronics with this engine, I just want to make sure that I have enough juice to do so. I did get the keyway to put the crank pulley on, so I tightened this. I think it's 85 foot-pounds, so this is all ready to go. And the reason why I wanted to use the Acty motor mount instead of the Beat one is because they're pretty similar. The issue is that on the Acty, the bolt goes up through the bottom and it bolts into the frame that way. On the Beat, it goes down into it. So I just wanted to make sure that all the spacing was correct, because I think if I used this one and swapped over the actual mount, it would sit a little too high. Long story short, I've just been getting all the accessories on. I want to put the AC compressor on here before I try to put it in the car, just so I think it's going to be a little easier to do so. And also I'm going to take the actual intake off because it is sitting really high, and with how I have to rig this to get it up, it's really freaking sketchy. So I want to make it so I don't have to lift up the car as high as I would with the intake on. Also, I don't want to scratch it because I spent a lot of time on that, so whatever. Anyways, I'm gonna go pick up the clutch alignment tool, and then I'm gonna work on the Land Rover, and you'll probably see me wearing a different shirt right about. Alright, it's the next day, and right here on the bench I have the clutch alignment tool, and of course it doesn't fit on the Beat flywheel. So let me explain. So this is the smallest adapter that the kit has for the flywheel bearing, and the bearing on the flywheel, which is right here, is where the input shaft of the transmission goes into. So in order to line up the clutch, you need to have the alignment tool fit in there, and this is just like a 1/2 mil too big and it doesn't fit in there. But what I did here is I taped on a 7mm socket onto the end of the tool, and this 7mm socket fits directly in there. There is a little bit of wiggle room, but I'm not gonna worry about that. This is the closest that I'll get. You may think that the flywheel is a little cooked. It does look pretty cooked, so I'm just going to send it. I do need to take these flywheel bolts out and put some Loctite on them. I got a little bit of red thread locker right there. Gonna take those out, put them in, torque them to spec, and then we can put the clutch on. And then after we put the clutch on, we can put the transmission on. After we put the transmission on, we can put the engine in the car, and got the clutch completely installed. Before we can put the transmission on, just need to change out the throwout bearing. Quick little update. So the transmission is now bolted onto the engine. I am missing a bolt that goes down here that feeds in from the other side. I have the oil filter on, so it's in the way, so I can't get to it right now. So I'm going to wait until the engine is in the car in order to get to that back bolt. And then I'm going to put the starter on here in a minute. I do have to use the Beat shift cable mount right here. The Acty one is just hitting. I'm sure that should be no issue. And then I do have to trim a little bit off of the bracket that goes here, because as I stated before in another video, I kind of have to use both the Acty and the Beat one, and the Acty bit just has that little arm that hits, so just gotta chop this off, and then I'll be able to bolt everything together. But it's looking really great. It's been a while since this has been all together, and I'm really liking the progress. So just gonna get back to that, and I'll update you in a little bit. I'm sweating my ass off in the garage. It's like 95 degrees, so I might take a break and get an iced tea. Alright, another thing to add to the list of things that you don't think about until you actually f***ing do it. All this work to make the cable clutch work on the Beat transmission in an Acty. There's a reason why they changed it to hydro and why all this stuff was in a different location. And I'll give you one hint about what that thing is. The distributor. So the distributor on the Beat comes off and it goes 90 up. On the Acty, it just fits right on the side. And the cable clutch is gonna have to thread that space between there to make it work. I think I'll be able to do it, but I just won't know until I actually get there. Gonna start preparing the engine to go into the car. It's raining, so I think I might go stand in the rain because I'm boiling to death. Alright, today is a new day, and it is time to put the engine back into the van. So, off camera, I did a couple things. I got new belts for the alternator as well as the air conditioning compressor. Cleaned up the AC compressor a little bit. Painted that. Thought it looked pretty cool. These are the belts that I use. This one's for the alternator, and then this one is for the AC. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pull the fit out, just give me some room to work with, and then get all the tools that I need all lined up so I can get this thing in there. And I think It's psycho mode time. Okay, so the safety glasses are on and the tiny hat's on, so you know it is getting real. Right now, the engine is under the car. It's not mounted up or anything. I did need to take a couple things off, so I just put the rear motor mount back on, just finger tight. I need to tighten that up. And then on the timing belt side, I took the actual mount off of the part that attaches to the engine right there because it needs to clear the leaf spring. Put the hoist inside the car, lift it up by the chain right there, and try to line everything up. The reason why I had to use the hoist to get it off the dolly was that it was just a little bit too tall to get underneath there. And actually I needed to wiggle it around so the dipstick, the AC compressor, and the shift cable arm thing could get in there. So that's a little bit, that's stage one of psycho mode for today. So now stage two, which is actually get the engine up and mount it in the car and off the ground. So super exciting. This has been a long time coming and I'm sweating. It's like 90 degrees in here. So let's get to it. So sorry about that, my camera died, but I was able to get the engine in and I am happy to announce America's first Honda Beat swapped Acty. So the engine is completely in. It's hanging on all three mounts. Just got to get it plumbed up. My suspicions were confirmed. The distributor does sit a little high in the engine bay. So that means that the intake is going to popping off all over here. So it's definitely a lot easier to see what's going on underneath it without the intake on. So the intake manifold is on there. This part of the airbox or whatever does not fit. The AC lines are right here. So that's like the only thing that I really have to worry about. I really want to somehow make something like this work. So I might have to get rid of this signature wood floor in the back and raise it up. And I have been wanting to put carpet in for a while. So I might just build an aluminum frame and raise up the floor a little bit so I can seal all the engine stuff in underneath there. But yeah, it is in there. It is America's first Honda Beat swapped Acty. All right, internet. So I think that's gonna be it for this video. I was going to do some work on the drum brakes on the Datsun, but it was just too freaking hot today and it looks like it's gonna rain anyways. So I was just tinkering around on the van. I am just still super stoked that this was able to work. I do need to tweak some things in order to make it work 100%. I need to line up the clutch cable, the accelerator cable. I had to flip the little mount that holds the actual throttle cable upside down, so this is normally up here. I guess the Acty one is a little shorter than the Beat one. If you've been following the channel for a while, you know that I want to turbocharge this little engine, so maybe that will be a good way to route it down and out of the way. I don't know. Got a lot more tinkering to do on the van. Not too much exciting stuff. Other than that, that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe and like this video if you want to see more K-Car content, and we'll see you in the next one. But for now, remember, keep it small.